Author and motivational speaker Maano Ramadwa shares his personal experience and perspective of being a teacher and principal in the book titled Teach to Inspire. He is in studio with us this morning to tell us more about his inspirational book that dissects a first-hand account of working in South African schools. Mr. Maano, a very good morning to you and welcome.
Good morning to you too. Thank you very much for having us.
Yeah, it's an absolute pleasure. You start off this book by sharing your own personal experience of high school and how you failed matric twice.
Yeah. That is exactly what you have to do. People don't believe theoretical inspiration. They believe inspiration that comes from the heart.
Okay.
So I had to share my experiences because my life as a teacher was as a result of the other teachers who inspired me to become the best that I could be.
Okay. And what was it about teaching that appealed to you that made you decide that you want to do it for the rest of your life?
I have to be honest with you. When there are teachers in your life who taught you in a manner that simplified their subjects, you begin to love the subject, you begin to love the way they treating you. And as a result of that, I got into that and I felt, because there were moments where they asked us to teach others. So that was the turning point. When you started teaching others, you fell in love with it.
Right, you grow and develop that passion.
And develop that passion in the long run, yeah.
And having been a teacher and a principal for a very long time, do you want to take us through some of the challenges that teachers face on a daily basis?
Yes, you know, here is my take of the whole teaching profession. You're bringing in, you and I will agree, a child is a gift. And then teaching itself as a profession is also given. So you're gifted to become a teacher, and you're dealing with a gift who is a child. So when a gift and a gift interact, that's a spiritual moment. And mainly in South African schools, we find a disconnection where the gift does not understand that I am a gift and then decides to work on with this gift without understanding. That becomes disastrous. And we have seen that in many schools in South Africa. We have seen it, I've experienced that firsthand in the schools that I've worked at.
And I would imagine the level of interest from the pupils themselves getting gradually each and every year. I mean, it's so amazing. Eh?
Look at the situation. If anybody else was to tell, or any of your teachers was to tell that you were going to be on television, they would have treated you differently. And normally what happens in every situation, teachers are exposed to children who are going to become so big, but they don't know. And the interaction with them at that particular level, it's a special moment. After years, now you come to meet this guy whom you taught at grade 1, and he's now speaking on television every single day. You feel so proud. But what if you did not actually impart important things and values into this child?
Right.
It becomes an embarrassment after 20 years of having interacted with that gift.
Totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Now, why is this book so important? I mean, in light of the horrific events that we see on a daily basis in our schools.
The book touches on a number of things. It touches on how the teacher himself should conduct himself in relation to the profession, also in relation to the gifts these learners, because it's so important how we understand these things, because we finish our varsity years and colleges, the training that goes with it. We finish it so early, but then we interact with children who are by far outside and away from where we ended when we finished. So you can see that it's on its own. It draws us to experience, but at the same time, it teaches us to say, these children are far ahead for our level at that particular time when we were still at school. So it becomes a challenging situation, but it needs to be mediated in a manner that is more understandable and that gives more inspiration to the learners themselves.
And having said that, so much can be said about the state and the level of education in our country. What are your views on that?
My views are teachers there's always going to be a teacher and a learner.
Yes.
And a teacher knows better and a learner knows less in terms of what their interaction. So it means that if I know that this child is behaving at the age of 16 and we expect them to behave like a child who is 16 years old, because I know better, I should understand that this is the behavior of that particular child who is like me when I was 16. So there must be that kind of understanding.
You're also an inspirational and motivational speaker, and you talk of restarting and resuscitating one's life and how you use that to better your own life.
I was 23 when I got my matric. So after having gone to school twice the previous years, but that experience on its own, it taught me very serious lessons in life. And that is why I always believe that there's always an opportunity for anyone to restart their lives. It doesn't matter whether you have made mistakes as a human being, because every single person's mistakes are just a platform for you to step up to the different level.
And you also started your own educational foundation. Tell us more about that and what its main objectives are.
I have been in the education department for some time, and I have seen children who are so talented. Children who can draw you within a few seconds. And those children, simply because of the difficulty of science and life sciences and mathematics, they end up nowhere. And sometimes it's as a result of us not having inspired them enough. But the foundation seeks to say, you have a gift first before you get a qualification. Now we need to evoke your gift so that by the time you get out of matric, you know exactly what you must be studying. You don't study outside of your gift, because if you do that, you become miserable. A cameraman who has been doing camera all the time, when that person studies to become a cameraman on television or anywhere else, they become excellent. And in the process, they become entrepreneurial. So we solve the problems of entrepreneurship and joblessness through these gifts when the children find themselves, and we just boom it. South Africa becomes a better place to live.
Food for thought, that, Mr. Ramadwa. Thank you so much for that. We appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Maano Ramadwa is a published author, speaker, and former school principal and community volunteer, and has been talking to us about his book titled Teach to Inspire. Let's now go back to the main desk with Pearl with the question of the day.